I'm Reese.
And I'm Dea.
And we are...
Literally dead. Oh.
I didn't join into that. I left you on your own.
You're such a skank.
I'm Reese.
And I'm Dea.
And we are...
Literally dead.
We're back to you with another episode.
Yes. We're done with zombies for a little while now. And we thought, we're gay. We should probably do something for Pride.
And what's gayer than France?
Exactly.
A lot of things, actually. But
no, France is really gay.
There's gayer places, surely. Speaking of...
Happy Pride! Happy Pride! Sorry it took us so long to do a Pride episode.
Well, we thought we'd do it towards the end of the month, you know?
Yeah, we were having fun with zombies.
Because it's the big event that everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
Our episode.
Also, fun fact, I'm actually gay all year round, not just in June.
That seems exhausting.
I mean, it's a hard job, but someone has to do it.
And we thank you for your service. Although you've not done much service.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's...
You've done great, though. You're doing a lot of service.
Thank you. I'm servicing everyone. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Anyway, we're doing a French film.
French. It's French.
It's called knife+heart. It came out in 2018.
We don't know when it came out.
No, I don't know.
It's recent-ish.
I might have been tipsy when I watched it.
Were you?
Well, I ate a 5% alcohol ice pole. So I was pretty
You must
lit.
be less gay than I thought. If that's enough to take you down.
I had tequila for breakfast today, so yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing for Pride. What are you guys doing for Pride? Let us know.
Yeah, what are you guys doing for Pride?
Comment, message us on Instagram, etc.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of gay movies for Pride, actually.
Yeah.
I watched Tu Wong Fu. I watched Some Like It Hot. I watched Shiver Baby. I watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I watched Knife+heart with you. I'm really looking forward to seeing Slay, the drag queen one.
The vampire film.
Yeah, that's on Tubi. I'm gonna watch that at some point.
We should watch it together. I really want to watch it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Should we do that for another episode?
Should we do an episode on Slay?
Tell us.
Yeah.
I need to see Pride, the movie Pride. I've never seen it.
No.
No.
The one about the miners. We watched Mamma Mia.
But that's a very... It's got gay rep in it. A little bit.
Oh yeah, the guy's gay at the end.
The
one of the
guy
dads is gay.
Yeah, he's gay at the end.
It's also terrifying. It's a horror, definitely. Because she definitely picks the wrong man.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
I was scared.
And he's such a bad singer.
Okay.
We need to stop. We need to talk about the movie now. We're watching Knife+heart. Right, I'm going to give you a little synopsis. And then you're going to go away and watch the movie, and then you're going to come back and watch us, yeah?
Or if you really feel like you hate the French and you don't want to watch it, that's fine. Just listen to us talk about it.
Totally understandable. I get it.
Oh, not the French are going to hate us.
I don't think we have any viewers.
No. Synopsis, come on.
Let's do the synopsis. A porn producer working on an ambitious film to win her ex back sets out to find out who is killing her actors. Whoa.
Okay. Without further ado, here we go.
Let's get into it.
So the film opens on porn. There's no other way to say that. Gay porn, twink porn.
Twink porn. But it's actually really not that explicit porn. Does that make sense?
No, because the camera kind of doesn't show genitalia. Yeah. But everything else is shown. And it's pretty much the plot of this porn is irrelevant, but I will say it's 3 twinks in a bush.
3 twinks in a bush.
Yeah.
It's really well lit as well.
And it's not where you think. It is very well lit for a daytime show, but it's also a film.
It's a very pretty porno.
What I will say is this porn studio and this porn director, they seem to have a decent budget. Their equipment is pretty thorough. They've got
artistic
props.
Porn.
Yeah. They're not like other porn, they're different, you know. In fact, bring back effort in porn. Can I just say that?
Bring back creativity.
Bring back art in porn.
Bring back whimsy and fun.
Bring back morals. Bring back storytelling.
Absolutely.
You want to come away...
You want to come?
You want to come away from a film, a porno film, feeling something other than clarity. Other than post-nut clarity, you want something to think about other than what you just did.
Absolutely. But the porn is on a monitor in an editing room, and it kind of intercuts between that and a scene in a gay club in which a twink meets a masked stranger.
Yeah, and this twink, you'll recognize him because he's
in the
main twink from the first porno.
He's the guy from the porno.
Yeah. Now this is sex club, right? You've got a bunch of guys naked, leather, playing with each other.
Someone's painted blue.
Of course, and our masked character is rubbing their groin, really grabbing the attention of this twink, and he gives him the bathhouse stare, which if you've never been to a bathhouse is sort of just the way of trying to be hey, do you want me or do you not? Without actually saying it, because no one's allowed to talk in a bathhouse.
They're not allowed to talk in there.
But they act like it.
Wow, that must be really inconvenient if you're blind.
Oh, 100%. Oh my God. Wait, I never thought about that. You know, maybe we should do something at some point on like disabilities in bathhouses.
In bathhouses, I don't think that's our niche, babe.
But it's so niche. No one else has done it.
So my blind friends who watch
Is it accessible?
Let's go to a bathhouse. Let's have a party.
No, because now I'm thinking about how inaccessible they are.
I don't think it is. The thing is, because I'm visually impaired, I have issues in like pools and stuff where I can't see like the steps properly, so I always have to wait till one person has to go in front of me and stuff, because you can't exactly bring your cane to like a pool, or because I've never been to a bathhouse, and that kind of stuff. And they never label it properly because they have to make the tiles look all pretty and stuff, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, just tell me where I'm going.
Tell me where I'm going.
Like, you're not there for pretty, you're there for swim.
Yeah, I'm there for swim.
Yeah. Or if it was a bathhouse, you'd be there for...
I'm there for wash. What are you there for?
Also swim. No, anyway, God, I'm sorry, I came off so gross. The point is, the twink follows the masked man into a different space. They seem to transport to a bedroom where they're having sex. I don't know if they're back at the twink's house or if this is a room.
We don't know.
Building. And it doesn't really matter.
But he's tied up.
Yeah, the masked man ties him up. The twink is so excited for this. He's laying on his stomach, arse in the air. The masked man climbs on top of him.
He's like rubbing this like dildo down his back.
Well, he opens the jeans and whips out a dildo, which is quite fascinating because you expect to obviously see a penis, but it's not. And I think that's the first time you think like question the sort of gender of this person or who they could be. We have no idea.
But also, it gives way to the coolest weapon we've seen on the show so far, I think.
You think?
I think it might... Well, what's the coolest weapon do you think we've seen so far?
No, it might be this now that I think about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's not just a dildo, it's a dildo knife!
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed the fuck to death.
Yeah, over and over again, blood everywhere. You know what?
What?
If you think about it, I think the coolest weapon we've seen so far is conversion therapy.
Nah, a dildo knife is better.
You know, a dildo knife is probably more effective.
By the way, I'm gonna just say this now because I want to get it out of the way. In this whole movie, I was like, oh, the dildo knife's gonna come back and like it's gonna like go in someone's hole and hurt someone really bad, and we never see that. Although it is mentioned at some point.
I will say the next kill, which will come up soon, I think is satisfying enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think maybe it would have gone too far if it'd done that, but in my head I was like, oh, that's gonna happen, definitely, you know. But then again, I also make weird.
See, all I could think about at this point was the sin. Is the sin, because I was watching all this thinking they're all going to hell. I was disturbed.
Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
I was disturbed. It's not right. It's not right. There were too many men doing unspeakable things.
There were too many men.
Yeah. I don't like sin in my horror films.
You're a liar. You're a lying bitch. So now we get a title card and it's...
By the way, wait, I wanted to clarify that the twink was wearing tearaway panties. No, sorry. Tearaway tighty whities.
I don't think they were tearaway. I think the guy just tore them off.
But they came off so easily.
I know.
Damn, okay, get you a man that does that. Because it was swift. It was swift.
But you know, like, tearaway underwear, right? If he was wearing regular clothes, right? What happens if you, like, rub yourself the wrong way, like, when you're sitting down or, like, you know what I mean, moving around dancing in the club? Will your underwear just tear off in your pants? In your trousers?
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Does that happen? Anyone who wears tearaway underwear,
you know,
do let me know.
She's thinking of getting some. That could be our first sponsor.
Tearaway underwear?
Yeah. We'll do a demonstration.
You'll do a demonstration, I will.
I don't know. I'll show Ho, but like for a certain amount.
10k subscribers and Reese will show Hole.
Anyway.
If we get to 10k subscribers by the end of the year, Reese will show Hole.
It's not the hole you think. So we meet our porno director. She's in a phone booth.
It's 1979, Paris.
Yeah. I will say there's some very cool shots here. She's underneath the bridge. It's blue tone. The lighting is
raining.
Very enjoyable, very respectable, very cool, very interesting. Yeah. And she's in the phone box and she calls someone who we pretty much quickly figure out is her ex-lover. Yeah. They're lesbians.
Yes. The director is called Anne and her lover is called Louis. Or she goes, Louise.
And we find out from the conversation that our director, Anne, has substance abuse problems and that they're no longer together. Yeah. And her ex-lover tells her that she needs to get clean.
Yeah. They can't be together if she's on drugs.
Yeah.
She needs to sort her life out. They're just going to only work together and that's it. Right, and we'll just say now, like, Anne is the producer, and she's not a director; she's a producer. Oh, I guess she directed too.
She's the director.
Okay, I don't know why the subtitles always call it producer.
Oh, she was definitely directing.
Okay, and Lois is the editor, who we saw her hands in the shot intercut with the club scene and murder.
Yeah, she's editing actual film.
Yeah.
And we find that out when we get to see the studio. We see some porny twinks.
Porny twinks.
Getting all porned up. And that's when we see that the editor is working in the same place. They have a sort of weird arrangement where they're not allowed to sort of see each other, talk to each other at work. But she agrees to continue working on the films because she's a great editor, and obviously.
There's this blonde guy who has a mustache, then he shaves it off, who's like a kind of like assistant director, but he's also one of the stars.
Yeah.
And I called him porn-coded guy this entire movie because he just looks like someone who would be in porn.
Yeah, he does.
Like, if you have like a stereotype of, oh, that person would be in porn, that would be him.
Like, it looks like he smells like porn.
It like smells gross.
Take that as you will. Well,
I feel like porn would smell gross.
Yeah, I will say we find out at this point that one of the porny twinks has trouble getting erections because he's on heroin, and that's when we meet the fluffer, who is this kind of awkward
Plus size gay man
who comes in, and
they call him Mouth of God.
Yeah, and if you don't know what a fluffer is,
they help the actors out.
Yeah, some people say they're not real, some people say that they are, they just don't use them anymore. Believe whatever you will. This guy's a fluffer in this film. He helps them get up an action for the film. He also works for free, by the way. He says he lives with his mother, so he doesn't need the money.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah, he just enjoys
sucking guys off.
It's his passion, okay?
You know what?
You're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. He has.
I know what I want to do with my life,
it.
but it's not sucking dick.
But it is for him, so respect what he wants to do, okay? Not everybody can not suck dick. Some people have to do it.
Are you speaking from experience?
Anyway, you can find me at the Wetherspoons bathroom or Pride.
And if you get to 10k subscribers. Oh, we're actually off our tits today. I don't understand.
I don't know.
So we got porn set fluffer, and then we got, what is this? Oh, right. So then Anne and her friend, the porn-coded guy, they go for a little drive. They find like a construction site, although it just looks like guys are just digging in the ground. I don't know what that's for.
Yeah, and I didn't even see any holes in the ground. It was like they were just playing in the dirt that had been digged out.
Yeah, they were just piles of dirt
that they were just pretending to work on. It was funny. But she approaches the twinkiest of them all.
Yeah, she finds this guy. I think his name is Nance.
Very pretty.
Yeah, he is lovely looking. And she's like, do you want to work on this? We pay you this much. It's more than you get on the site.
What he makes a month, she can give him for a week.
I think it was for like 3 scenes or something ridiculous. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I'm not a fairy, I'm not going to do it. But like, he does it.
She wrote her number down on the card, put it in his panties, and she said, well, think about it. Yeah, call me.
She's very like, because she's a lesbian, right? She just gives no fucks about like flirting with men to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of fun, yeah.
I like her personality. She's very much like, she's very tough. I don't know, the industry she's in, obviously she's surrounded by men, but she's just, I don't know, she wears the pants in a way I like.
I don't know. I think because what happens later in the film, I don't like her.
That's a different person, okay?
Okay. And then she goes to the police station because the police want to talk to her and ask about the guy who got murdered in the beginning, Carl.
The twink, because he was one of her actors.
Yeah. And
she's obviously very sad when she finds out that he is dead.
Yeah. Find out he was like stabbed in the butt.
Yeah.
It's really sad and like gross.
But then this immediately cuts to a new porno that she starts filming, where she turns the scenario of one of her actors, his death, into a porno.
Into a porn parody.
Yeah, where she gets her assistant, the
porn-coded guy. He shaves his mustache, and now he plays her, but as like a man.
Yeah, as I guess we call it a cross-dressing man.
Yeah.
A self-insert.
A self-insert cross-dressing porn parody.
Yeah, with like 2 of the actors playing the police officers.
Yeah. One of them starts humping
a
typewriter because he's like, type it out, and he's just like...
Because when she was being interviewed, one of them was typing everything.
And the other one was giving herself into a foot job.
So he just starts screwing the typewriter, just like bang, bang, bang.
That must hurt. It looked like he was thrusting really hard.
No, I'm sure he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
No penises will hurt.
But yeah, how weird is that? Like, it's just like weird, like real life fan fiction. It was just like, yeah, with like weird self-insert. But I guess that's just the way her creativity works.
She's a kooky little lady. It's very disrespectful. I think one of them doesn't like that she's doing this as well. The fluffer was crying, I think, at one point.
I think because the twink that died was a close friend of his, and he low-key fell in love with him.
He was like, oh, he was such a sweet little guy, and he was so beautiful. Why would anyone want to hurt him?
And she feels like she's bastardizing his death and what happened to him, which he's not wrong.
No.
But also, I don't know.
If I die in a horrific way, please make a porn parody about it. I think it'd be really funny.
Right? I will.
Thank you.
I will.
And I'll do the same for you.
Thank you.
The viewers don't have permission to make a porn parody about my death, though. Only you do.
Yeah, I have to have rights to the film.
Also, if I'm murdered, I don't want true crime girly to go, she was raped and unalived.
No, you want everyone to like watch.
If you're Rotten Mango, if you're listening to this, don't talk about my
But
death.
you'll be a man in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
I want a big, big penis, yeah?
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
You know who's available.
Give me that alpha cock from 28 years.
You've not seen 28 Years yet? Go watch it.
Yeah.
If you like big penises, go watch it.
Absolutely. If you love big penis, you're gonna love 28 years later.
We don't love big penis over here, but you do you.
You don't love big penis. You like small.
Bite size.
What is wrong with us?
So anyway, the heroin guy who couldn't get boners, he's like, give me my money. She's like, you'll get it next week. And he's like, give me my money now. She pays him and says, you'll never work for me again. He runs off with the money and we see he buys drugs. He gets high in his car behind a lesbian bar and just basically passes out.
And here's heroin. And then Anne actually goes to the club, and she sees Lois dancing with another woman who's like really pretty.
Yeah.
And she's like fully like watching them for ages and getting really jelly about it. But
meanwhile,
while she's watching it, Thierry, he meets the masked man, and the masked man puts his
Sorry, I don't like the way you're describing this. What? He doesn't meet him. The heroin guy is completely passed out in the car from drugs, and the masked man climbs on top of him while he's asleep, opens his pants, reveals the dildo from his jeans.
Yeah, but he's awake when the guy...
No, he's not. He's drugged out of his mind, and then he starts thrusting his penis into the guy's mouth.
It's not a penis, it's a dildo knife.
Well, it's a dildo knife, of course, but it was a dildo at this point.
Yeah.
And that's when he sort of wakes up and sort of just goes into action, because obviously his porn instincts kicked him, and he just starts sucking it, and that's when the blade comes out and stabs him through the back of the throat and comes out of the back of his head, which I think was a very cool kill. I think that's a very important thing to say. What a way to go too, doing what you love.
I'd love to see dead meat kill count that.
We should do
a
longer length YouTube video on just all of the sexual deaths in horror films.
In horror films, sex, death, horror movies. You know what? That'd be so fun. We can rank them and everything.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Let us know if you want to see that.
Let us know.
She scratches into the film, and I thought she was just like scratching out scenes just to be a bitch and give the editor more work. But no, she's actually writing like letters.
Yeah.
Saying like, you killed me.
Yeah.
And
on top of the heroin porno guy.
Yeah.
Because she finds out that he died.
Yeah.
And also, she's now added a second installment to her porno.
Yeah.
That covers this guy's death. So at this point now, she's entirely made this porn series a parallel to what's happening in real life. She is investigating in the porno, this self-insert of her, this cross-dressing twink, is investigating the deaths of her actors. It's morally
wrong, but it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like it's such a weird, like, it's a very French film, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed how like balls to the wall crazy it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more films should be like kind of crazy, especially in horror. I feel like horror's gotten so prudish recently.
I agree.
Especially like, I don't know, like I love an elevated horror, but some of them are just like, get some titties out. Come on.
Yeah, because I mean, if you know anything about horror, you know that horror and sex have a huge relationship.
Yeah. Also, just things that are like considered taboo or things that you shouldn't talk about. They're a great space for horror movies, and I feel like sometimes people just ignore it now because it's not like the right thing to do, or you get like a million TikTok comments going, they could have done it, but they could have done it without showing things and blah 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 blah. You know? Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, sometimes you should just have like a weird, gross movie. You know? I
agree. There's still lines, but like.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There are certain ones I think like we don't blur enough anymore. That sounds really bad. Yeah. I feel like I have to really clarify which lines I'm talking about.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But if you think it's too bad, I'm probably not talking about that line, okay?
Yeah. So there's like a little bit more porn, and then they find Thierry, the cops, and they get like a phone call about it, I think. And then they go to a bar, and there's a group of hot women, like prostitutes. Yeah. And one of them is an ex-star of Anne's films. She's now transitioned, and her name is Misha.
Yeah, the whole group are trans women. That's important.
Yeah.
And essentially, the director offers them a job on her in one of her films. Yeah. And they laugh at her because the rate that she says is essentially how much they get for doing a blowjob.
Like, less than a blowjob? Wow.
For a day's job. That's just for a day pay, yeah.
Yeah.
Less than a blowjob for a day.
And they were just like, why would I bother?
Do you know how much we're worth?
Yeah.
But I guess they must just love the art because they do agree to be in it. And essentially, now that the trans women are in the porno, we see the next...
Oh, there's such a weird curtain porn scene as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a hand going through the curtains, and then you see different sex scenes. Like, one of them is like one of the ladies like spanking a man. The other one's like a guy making out with himself in the mirror.
Well, this is the conclusion
Yeah.
to the story.
Yeah.
She already concludes this detective narrative.
Yeah. Oh, and Nons, who was the guy at the construction site, he plays the detective, by the way.
Yeah.
He plays the detective.
He agrees to join the film.
Yeah. And he's
But
going...
we're watching from the perspective of the killer,
Yeah.
going through this bathhouse, dreamscape,
Yeah.
feeling everyone until
Detective Nons and self-insert porn-coded guy dressed up as Anne come into the like thing. They catch him and they unmask the killer, and it's Anne playing a killer version of herself. Yeah. And then the guy who's playing her goes, "Oh my god, she's seen all my films. She's a fan. She's a fanatic."
Yeah, and then one of the other characters, one of the trans women, she says, "I've seen this before." Something along the lines of mother by day, but she consumes so much pornography that she convinces herself that she is a gay man herself. Sorry, what?
She says the F word.
Yeah, a faggot. Yeah.
Oh, it's French.
Yeah, because it was French. They didn't actually say faggot. You know what they said.
Yeah.
But she says, they consume so much gay porn, they think that they're faggots.
Which is a real thing, by the way. Like, there's a group of fujoshis online who've watched and read so much like BL, yaoi, like porn, that they convince them, because they find it hot, right? So they convince themselves that they must be gay men if they find it hot.
Yeah. And I will say there are a lot of trans men who discover their transness through that.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's not who we're talking about.
No, we're not. We're not talking about them.
In fact, a large amount of detransitioned trans men were these people.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Fetishizers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But not all of them. Like, most trans men are
the
lovely.
killer in her story was a fujoshi.
Oh my gosh.
Fujoshi pride. There's a fujoshi pride flag.
There's a fujoshi pride flag?
Yeah, kids are crazy. Be who you are for your pride.
Does anyone remember yaoi and yuri paddles at cons?
No.
So you used to get like a wooden paddle, and you'd write like yaoi on it, or like yuri in rarer cases, because lesbians don't have enough representation apparently.
Yeah.
And people would run around at cons and hit people with them and be like, "You're gay now," with the yaoi paddle.
Okay, but it wasn't gay people actually doing that.
No, it was straight women running around, hitting male, mostly cosplayers, in like the face or the butt, and be like, "You're gay now."
Because that's not weird.
Because that's not weird. The 2000s were a wild time. I do kind of want a Yuri paddle though. I think that'd be like a
I would
relic.
love a magic wand that turned people gay. Who would you turn gay?
Who would I turn gay? Maybe just like every like EDL like geezer. Like they wreak too much havoc, and if they're all bumming each other, then they can't do that. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I think the world would be a better place if they had
I had
more fun.
smaller plans. I was just gonna like tap every deadbeat dad so they stopped having kids with.
Smart. Also, every like unhappy woman who's like, my man has to provide for me and I can stay at home. I would just then they have to like women, and then who's gonna provide for both of you?
Oh my god, you're so right. Wait, that's so much better, because that way you leave the men as straight, but none of the women want them because we made all the women gay. That's so much better.
I'm every woman.
It's all in me.
Especially conservative pick-me's. Boom, you're gay now. Whose attention are you gonna vie for?
Oh, I want to get the ones who are married to the gay men, but he's not gay anymore. He went
the Mormons.
He went to therapy with his
Mormons.
priest, but I want to hit them with the gay stick, and then they'll try to be straight, and they'll realize, oh wait, conversion therapy doesn't work, and they'll realize their husbands are just gay. Although I have to believe that a lot of them are like gay or bi, because I think that they are attracted to women, and so in their head they're like, well, I ignore that and I'm able to be with my husband, so he's able to do that too, like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's like there's like people having conversations with their mom and they're like, I'm gay, and she's like, no, everyone finds women really sexually attractive. And it's like, are you sure?
No, mom. She's like, yeah, every woman like wants to be with a woman, you know, every woman sits and waits for her husband to die.
Every woman wants a hot goth baddie to sit on their face. What do you mean?
Is that what your mum said?
No, but now now I make a gay joke and she goes, I'm gay, and a part of me wants to go, no, it's a face. She's trying to steal my thing.
She's just trying to be supportive in the way that she knows how.
By being that thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
If I transition, she's gonna transition too. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. If anyone's transitioning, let us know.
I wish the best for you.
I
Also,
hope it goes well.
In our link tree, not link tree, in the links in the bottom of our videos, we do actually have links for trans charities now.
Yeah.
So there you go. So look up some resources.
Go
if you need them.
charitized.
I think we have mermaids and some other things in there.
So obviously we see the conclusion of her porno story where she's actually the killer. She does say, I just want to say this too, she says to, I can't remember who she says it to, but she says, how did I do? Was I a good faggot?
She's gay. I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was very funny.
And then we cut to, so everyone runs off and they're gonna have like a picnic to wrap up.
Yeah.
A few days later, but now.
Which is so cute.
Oh.
Imagine that, wrapping on a fucking porn, and then they have a
little picnic.
What kind of like wonderful aftercare is that? The rat party is a picnic.
It's a picnic. I would love to do that for my like films, because I feel like going out to a bar it's fun, but if you're still editing or like you're or everyone's super tired from a long set, I think it's just nicer to have like a little chill out like in the park. You know?
Yeah, but it's the speakeasies first though.
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
They mention having a picnic, and then they go off in their separate ways, and Anne goes to a lesbian speakeasy, which sounds so fun.
Yeah,
And
looks
there's
fun.
a woman singing on stage with another woman, and the other woman is in bear drag.
Yeah.
She's wearing a not bear gay man, like bear the animal drag. And the woman who's singing she's singing about being basically eaten, and she does essentially just get eaten on stage. But what I want to mention is her bodysuit. So she's wearing like a sheer like bodysuit with like sparkles and stuff.
Yeah.
But she's got artistic bush. So she's got like a patch around her crotch area, and then it kind of climbs up like kind of like almost spiderwebby.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, it was so weird, but it was cool.
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was like really pretty. I think it was saying stuff. But I just want to clarify, there are no bears in this film. Just twinks. There is
Twinks.
one daddy, but he's not quite a bear. So,
Justice for the bears.
you know, I guess this must have been a twink era in France or something.
I don't think I've ever seen a French bear. I think I've only seen French twinks.
Do they have?
Do they have bears in France?
If you're French, can you let us know if there were bears in France?
Are you a French gay bear?
Yeah, I don't want to go and be disappointed.
So they're at this picnic, and it's actually so cute, right? Because they're like doing poetry, they're like talking to each other, they're having a lovely time. Except Anne, she's just fully waiting for Lois. She's like obsessed with Lois.
She's wearing this really pretty blue thing as well, which I also want to mention, the blue collar guy, the guy that she recruited on the site who finally joined the porn.
Yeah.
He's actually at the picnic
and
too.
he's having a good time.
And he's sleeping so peacefully. So I think he is one of those fairies.
Oh, fully. He's
Yeah.
a fairy.
He is. That does get confirmed later, actually.
Yeah.
He's a full-on fairy. He's a faggot. Okay,
So they're doing poetry, they're having a good time, and Lois shows up a little later, and also all of the lovely ladies show up as well.
yeah. One of them gives birth to a bowl of vodka.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, I like that. Imagine how easy that'd be. Imagine turning up to the function and people are like, we're out of drinks. And it's just...
Because they said that they stole shit from the corner shop, right? And then she does her fake birth scene, and then she's like, oh, she's just showing off her surgery from Morocco. Good for you.
Oh, come to let me find out it's a Bacardi, though. I'm aborting it.
Why would anyone even buy Bacardi? It's so shit. It's not even good in cocktails. Anyway.
Some people drink it straight as like an aperitif. I don't know who they are. Sorry, a digestive.
Not in my house.
Not in this house.
No.
No. Sorry.
If you're a Bacardi drinker. A happy pride to everyone except Bacardi drinkers.
That point right there. And an extra special to absolute drinkers.
So yeah, Lois turns up later, and then the wind starts blowing and everyone starts packing up, and then Anne and Lois just run off into the woods.
Yeah.
And then Misha, she tries to follow them, but she gets like lost because she's like, oh guys, come back, like we need to leave together, like it's safer that way. And then she gets murdered.
Yeah.
She gets like, the thing is, when we were watching the movie, I was like, oh, this is like the one non-sexual murder, and then he just starts like making out with her corpse.
Yeah. Well, I will say I love this murder. I really want to like give it some justice.
Okay.
I love the way that it's filmed. So we see what's her name, Misha?
Yeah.
Yep.
Misha.
Missia. So sorry for getting her name wrong.
It's
But
because she says it with a French accent. Why don't you say it normally?
yeah, say it like a normal person. Oh my god. Point is, she's lost in the woods and she's spinning in a circle. Well, the camera's spinning around her. Well, no, the camera's spinning in a circle. She's staying put. And which, you know, is dizzying, makes her look lost. But every time the camera spins back around and we see her again, we see the killer behind her getting closer and closer.
Yes.
And the camera spins and the killer's closer. Camera spins, killer's closer.
And it spins unevenly as well because it goes really fast and it slows
Yeah.
down, which is really cool.
It's very uneasy and it's obviously very scary because of that, like, getting closer element. And then until eventually he stabs her in the back. But yeah, like you said, after he kills her, he then, like, makes out with her corpse and then runs into the woods. And this sequence was shot and filmed almost like a romance, like a romance drama, where they had this passionate kiss in the rain, because the rain starts falling as well. It was giving, like, you know, The Notebook.
Yeah.
And then he runs off into the woods and it's like filming him running like a lover running away from a breakup. It was such a vibe shift, but I think that was kind of part of it, you know?
Yeah.
As part of the Frenchness of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it does like a lot of things that you wouldn't expect it to do in the way that it's made and shot, and I really do like appreciate that about this film. We need to watch much more like international films. I feel like they're so different.
We do.
Okay, so Lois goes off to see her friends, right? And then Anne is like, ugh, why would you do that, right? And then it turns into nighttime because obviously the picnic was in the daytime, and Anne has kind of like stalked Lois into like this like street alley, and also. You thought that Lois was the killer because she had a crow on her shoulder.
We so forgot to say that. This is going to become so important in a moment, and we completely forgot it. But at the first 2 kills, there was a crow.
Well, we find out what bird it is later.
But there's a crow-looking bird that is at those murders. And when they're having a picnic...
a bird sits on Lois's shoulder. Yeah,
which one kind of makes you think... Because she sort of puts her finger to it as if she's familiar with this bird. And it kind of makes you think that 1, oh, is she the killer? Because she's familiar with this bird that follows around the killer. But 2, it also makes you think, oh no, the bird's here. Someone's going to die. Which obviously, Misha dies. So we're unsurprised. But later on, when we get to the scene that you're just describing...
She's wearing a very similar outfit to what the killer wears.
It's definitely got different elements, but it's got that same leather jacket. And her hair, and this is where it's like so on the nose that they're trying to make you think this, is slicked back into a very ugly like hairstyle that
you would... just a bun.
No, because it's like a tiny little bun at the back of her head. It's very much... And her hair looks really matted down, like she's been wearing a wig.
Okay.
That it genuinely looked like someone who had just been wearing a wig.
I didn't think she looked ugly with it. I thought it looked kind of cool if it was like slicked a little bit.
It was like a tiny little thing. It was really... Yeah, no. It looked like someone... Whether you think it was nice or not, it looked like someone who was just wearing a wig.
Yeah.
And while they're having this argument.
They have an argument in this like alleyway, and this part is, I think, the most disturbing part of the movie, I feel. Where like... Anne is kind of, she's having like a mental breakdown, and she's arguing with Lois a lot, and she's like, you're mine, and she like sexually assaults she sexually assaults Lois,
and then it cuts to a shot of the killer who's actually on a bridge in the distance watching the assault,
and so you discover that it's actually not, she's not the killer. So she rapes Lois. And then it cuts to another shot because Lois runs off because they get interrupted. The next day, Anne confronts the police. She turns up and she's like...
She finds out that the Misha had died.
Also died.
And she's sort of like, why aren't you doing anything?
What's going on here?
And like, oh, it takes time. You guys should just like stop working and tell your actors to go home and stay home.
They have to eat. Like, what do you mean? They have to stop working. That's so stupid.
It's so disrespectful too.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that a lot of these people can't get jobs in other places. Like, especially the trans women. That's why, they're working as sex workers most of the time. It's just so disrespectful and disgusting.
Then, but the nicer of the 2 cops comes outside, and he says, look, they're not going to help you that much. This case isn't a priority, but I can give you the clue that we have because I keep like a souvenir from every case I do, which is creepy.
Yeah.
And it's a bird feather from one of the murders.
From that suspicious crow-looking bird.
Yeah. And so he says, it will take us weeks to get the tests done, but here's a feather for you so that maybe you can do something with this.
Yeah, which was nice of him. I will say he gave kind of gay twink vibes. I think he was a little gay, and that's why he sympathized a little.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
We're so progressive during Pride Month. We're like, he looked gay. For Joshis think they're trans.
Gay sticks. Who would we turn gay? Our gay karma is out of whack.
I don't know what's wrong with us today. Then she looks up bird shops in a phone book, or like a, like Yellow Pages type thing.
Yeah.
Because it's 70s, obviously.
I will say, I love this shot, actually. I will say this. Because the bird feather actually has a blue tinge to it.
Oh,
and she has her assistant help her look through a phone book, like you said. And they have this shot where you're looking at the feather, and it pans down to the book.
The light is blue.
And there's a blue streak of light from the feather on the book. And he slowly angles the light, and it falls down the page until the light lands on the bird, expert's phone number.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I just want to appreciate that shot.
Yeah. And then there's a really cool bit of like, I don't know if it's set design or they scouted this location, but she goes to the bird shop and she sees like a kind of pyramid temple looking thing in the woods. And then she meets a woman and a young man who's a bird expert, and he says that this bird is something called a grackle, which is a blind bird that people used to take dying people into the woods, and that the bird lived in.
To hope that the bird would absorb the death from them.
Yeah, and he says that the legend is the bird will take death and bring it to the sun to burn it away, but if they fly too close, then they go blind.
Yeah.
And so it's, and nobody's seen the bird in ages, and they think it's an extinct bird. And then he touches her hand, right? And then you find out he's got like weird bird claw like fingers.
He's got bird hands, like fully.
Yeah.
Like he's got those like ribbed fingers. His like middle fingers are stuck together too.
Yeah.
And he's got these weird claws, like you said.
And then the woman next to him is like, oh, he just has like a genetic condition.
That starts with the hands, and eventually his whole body will mutate.
And I'm just like,
He's turning into a bird.
that man is turning into a bird and then never gets dressed.
Yeah, I will say, like, up until this point, it's been pretty, like, cut and dried, just, like, slasher serial killer.
Yeah.
And this is the first, like, supernatural element, and it's really unusual. And I will let you know now, the supernatural element isn't important.
Yeah.
And it's really, especially the man turning into a bird, because what is happening there? It even made me question, like, is this part of some larger universe that we don't know?
I don't know. I like
Is
that
this a
it's kind of
series?
fantastical, you know?
Of course, but it's like, it's just so out there that I'm trying to make sense of it and thinking, am I missing out on something? And I probably am. I'm probably just not understanding something.
Maybe something lost in translation.
Or I'm lacking information or knowledge of the director, or, you know. But it is very unusual. I mean, oh God, imagine turning into a bird.
What kind of bird would you turn into?
Oh, actually, this is easy. I was like, oh God, no, but a penguin.
I was gonna... Penguin would be a good one. Maybe
Yeah.
like a robin or a blue tit, you know, like something small. You can just kind of chill out, eat some berries.
I don't want to be
Eat some
gross like
rice.
that.
You think robins are gross?
Yeah, like just being it. Like you've got like a weird beak thing and like
I think they're so cute.
your feet. Like how do penguins are cute? Okay,
Penguins
and
are cute too, but they stink like fish.
you smelt one up close?
You have been to the zoo?
Oh yeah, but that's the environment.
No, the zookeepers will tell you that they stink like fish.
Also, I wouldn't want to be in a zoo.
Again, zookeepers will tell you that they stink like fish, even if they like come from like other places.
Not me. Not me.
Not you.
No,
Why? You
because-
perfuming.
Yep. No, I'd smell good as a penguin. I would.
Okay.
Because I would wash. I'd bathe.
Okay.
Unlike the other penguins.
Anyway.
Let me be a fucking penguin.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just thinking that it's just weird that you find some birds gross and other birds not.
Well, no, because
Actually, no. Do you know what? The one bird I'd never want to be is, you know, the ones with the like neck, like the like wrinkly pink like neck. Turkeys.
Oh, I see.
Ugh.
No, but see, that what gets me about the other
I always
birds
thought Nigel Farage
is
looked
the
like a turkey.
boniness of them. Because like birds like robins, right? Like the classic birds,
Yeah.
they have those like the guy who had the mutated bony hand. They've got those weird bony hands. Their ears are weird because they just have holes in their heads. Like, have you ever seen the side of an owl's head? You can see behind their eye.
Oh, that's
If you
kind of cool.
peel back the feather, you can see into the head and you can see the back of their eye moving around.
That's kind of cool.
It's weird. Okay, and I'm sure there's something weird about penguin, but
We're a horror channel. We should like the weird.
not today. I'm sorry. Not when it comes to me. Okay, I want to be the pretty privileged bird. Okay.
Penguins are not the pretty privileged bird. That would be like a peacock or like a parrot.
No, parrots are mistreated all the time.
Yeah, but they're pretty.
Of course, but it's not the privilege. Like penguins get pretty privileged.
I
Like
don't think it
all the
cute
kids want to
privilege.
see penguins. Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. Or flamingo. Flamingo.
But what privilege do they? I just feel like penguins are like been accepted in society as these like iconic things.
Yeah.
So after she speaks to these two experts, she decides to take a trip.
Yeah, but she gets a letter from Lois, and Lois basically, she says, I'm breaking up with you.
Again.
I'm breaking up with you probably this time. I'm not even going to work on your films anymore. I'm going to finish this one, and then I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, and she says you're not allowed to speak to me ever again.
Yeah. And then she...
Oh, and specifically, actually, she says, I will finish this final film for you, but only if you promise to never seek me out.
Then she goes to an inn. She meets some old guy. She meets another lesbian called Carly.
Yeah, a lot of lesbians.
A lot of lesbians. Love it. They go off into the woods, and she finds a grave.
With the name Guy on it.
Guy, yeah.
And
Or
then-
in French, Guy.
There you go. And then the mother of Guy
Yeah.
sees her at the gravestone, and she thinks that she knows. They said, oh, you know Guy, don't you? He speaks to me.
Yeah.
The flowers change, the wind blows, and it's our secret language. And
Mm-hmm.
she seems a little unwell and obviously like grieving in a very...
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she goes back, and the lesbian also gives her some info, and so does the lesbian's dad, and I think some news articles as well.
Yeah, from her dad's hoarding archives.
Yeah. Essentially, Guy, everyone thinks Guy is dead because a few years ago, I think it was 10 years ago, a barn burned down with him and his friend Hashim inside.
Yeah, but they never found Guy's body.
They only found Hashim's bones.
Yeah. In fact, it took them years to finally get a grave.
Because they think that Guy murdered Hashim in the barn.
Yeah, and that he like might still be alive.
Mm.
And when they buried him, they obviously just buried clothes because they don't actually know where he is.
Yeah. This gives Anne an idea, doesn't it?
Yes, this gives the director Anne an idea. She sort of starts to theorize that this guy who they couldn't find the body of is the killer.
Mm.
And that she wants to bait him out essentially.
Yeah.
So she calls up her
And she
Forget.
sees a picture of Hashim, who looks
Oh,
like
yes.
Nons, and it also looks like this guy called Fawad, and I believe it's implied that Hashim and Fawad are the same person, and Fawad was just his stage name.
See, I can't tell.
Okay.
Because Hashim died. They found his body. They had his body.
But Fawad is also dead. That's why they keep mentioning, oh, he looks like Fawad, isn't that sad, you know?
No, they said Fuad disappeared.
Yeah, disappeared, so we don't know if he's dead, but I think it's implied because he's disappeared that he is Hashim and Fawad are the same person.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was a really confusing ending. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. And so she gets everyone together to shoot more porn. There's more editing, and whilst this like porn stuff is going on, there's like a power outage. Lois goes to investigate, and during this power outage, one of the men get murdered. I think his name is Jose. He gets murdered.
Yeah, the one daddy, the one non-drink.
So Lois finds a rat in the wires, and then she hears like some commotion, and she runs out, and she sees the killer going for Anne.
And I love this shot because the lights are flashing.
Yeah.
Because it's like on and off, and you're panicking, and the killer's there, and everyone's frantic because one of the actors is bleeding out on the floor.
Yeah. She jumps in front of the killer trying to get to Anne, and she dies in Anne's arms.
Yeah, and the killer
I'm like,
runs
why
away.
would you save your rapist?
It's also her ex-lover. I don't know.
Anne is like, she has like another breakdown. She's like crying, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. And then it cuts to like some time later where the film is done, and she goes to a gay porn cinema. And she's like the one woman there.
Well, she's also the director.
That's true. There's just like a bunch of men in the background having sex in the cinema.
Yeah, or masturbating.
She's watching the new film, followed by like her old films as well.
Yeah, she stays there all day. We see her like in and out of sleep, essentially.
I think at one point a fan comes up to her and goes, oh, I've seen all your films, I really love your work, this is like your magnum opus, like this is really good. And she says, of course, because Lois did it.
Yeah, it was all Lois.
Yeah.
I will say there's a few things we noticed while she's in here all day watching these films. Obviously the men behind her change because men are coming and going. Coming. But also we do notice the killer at the back of the theatre, or at least it seems to be the killer. He's no longer wearing the mask.
No, he's not. He's wearing a cap and like a bandana type thing.
Covering his mouth. But what you do notice about his forehead and eye area is it's burnt flesh.
Yeah.
So you immediately think, is this guy the body that was never found in the burnt barn?
And Nons goes to watch his film in the cinema as well. And
that's the blue collar guy.
Yeah, he gets complimented by another gay guy, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're finally accepting yourself. Good for you, babe.
And he even mistakes him for
Fawad, because they show a film with Fawad after they show like the detective film that they made.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, that's not me. That's a common mistake, though.
Yeah. Behind the porn cinema, there's like a dark sex room that people go into with torches.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you get riled up on all that porn.
Yeah.
You can make a little extra money by letting people fuck downstairs.
And so Nons goes down there, and he's followed by like the burn scar man.
And this is the moment where it's confirmed that like he's a gay man.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I'm not one of them fairies, and now here he is in a dark room, looking at naked men trying to hook up with strangers.
And the burned man, he takes down his like bandana and he starts crying and he's like going, Hashim, Hashim.
Because he looks just like his ex-lover.
Yeah.
But also our director at the same time.
Yeah. She figures it out, and she goes downstairs and tries to save him. And
she says, that's the killer.
That's the killer. And Guy, because that's his name obviously, runs out into the thing, and he just gets murdered by a bunch of gay people because they're like,
he grabs someone by hostage.
Yeah.
By hostage. He grabs someone hostage and like holds him at knife point and drags him out. But then he walks into the cinema room, surrounded by gay men, watching him and seeing what he's doing.
Yeah. And then they're like, you think it's fun to kill fags, do you? Like, we're gonna get you. And they like go for it. They beat his ass. They stab him. You know?
Yeah. I think it's a powerful moment.
Yeah,
I think it was nice to see all those gay men standing up for themselves and coming together like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's nobody standing up for them, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, Anna's going and investigating stuff.
But the police don't give a shit.
The police don't give a shit. A lot of their families probably wouldn't care, you know? This is like a big a thing that they're taking. They're in community and they're destroying what's killing them.
In that space, because it's like a porn cinema and you just think these men are just here to have sex, and there still was that sense of community. And I think that humanizing those like taboo places is so important, because there was a point where those taboo places were like the only community that like gay people had.
Yeah, absolutely. Like things like pornography and kink and like fringe groups are so important to gay history and like the history of acceptance amongst gay people.
Yeah.
So look into that if you haven't. But then we get like a kind of, I couldn't tell if it was, originally I thought it was another porn parody, but it's not. It's just kind of like the story of Guy and Hashim's romance. It lasts like a few minutes.
Oh yeah, it's like a flashback.
Yeah, it's like a flashback, but it feels like a film in of itself.
Yeah.
And it's very artistically done. You see that like Guy used to be like very pretty, and Hashim loved him very much, and then
they had a romance.
Yeah, the barn burnt down and took everything from him, and now he's...
Well, actually, it says that Guy's, believe it's Guy's father.
Yeah.
Who found them.
Yeah.
And then it says something about love turning into rage or something like that. And I can't quite figure it out without rewatching it. But it's implied that either the father murdered Hashim or Guy himself murdered Hashim out of trying to like defend his like homosexuality and closetedness. And then obviously burnt down the barn. The barn was burnt as well. Can't remember which one. But you know what? Either way, it's French.
It's French. And then we get the ending scene. And it's a weird porno scene with everyone who's dead and alive coming together and just fucking.
Yeah.
And then the movie's over.
Yeah.
This movie was confusing as fuck. I'm gonna say this. I can't tell if Nons, Fouad, and Hashim are 3 separate people, or are they 2 people, or are they 1 person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't figure that out. Although I'm assuming it has to be at least 2 people because they found bones.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's real and what's not because of the flashbacks and then things transitioning to porn at random points.
I think...
Most of it's clear apart from, like, the ending bit, you know?
There were a lot of things I liked.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things I did like the way that they used porn. It didn't just feel like, oh, this is just a horny horror film. I loved the not only was the porn artistic, but the way that they used the porn in the film was artistic. I liked the parallel storylines.
Yeah.
I liked the goofiness of it. I really enjoyed the moral, like, questioning of the whole thing. The highlighting of certain communities. Yeah, there's a lot to like. I just think it Frenched a little too close to the sun, and it was a little too hard to understand. Maybe if I watched it multiple times, or if I had a smarter brain,
or if I could speak French,
yeah, I'd be able to get it better, you know, or if I had more context,
yeah,
to the director's vision. But it was a little confusing.
What did you give it?
I will say, I debated. I gave it 2.5.
A 2.1, okay.
I thought maybe even a 3 because there were a lot of things that, like, the cinematography at some points really good. Actually, no, a lot of the points. In fact, you know, I will give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3 because the cinematography genuinely was something really pleasant, both in the you know, the meta part of the film and also the porn scenes. There was so much creativity. Some of the set, the designs, the coloring especially. Of a lot of the shots was really pretty, really like crowd pleasing. So for that reason, I'll bump it up to a 3, especially because like I kind of like the classic sort of like murder mystery type vibe that was kind of going on.
Almost like a giallo.
Yeah. What did you give it though on that note?
I actually give it a 3.5. The thing is the ending pushes it down for me, and that would be the only reason I would put it, you know what I mean, further down. I really love, especially from like the first kill, I just really enjoy this film. I enjoy that it represents not just gay men, but also lesbians and also trans people, because I feel like like with queer movies, it's so annoying that there's like, it feels like there's like a line that filmmakers tend to draw, and they're like, it's either a gay movie or a trans movie, and you can't like get in between that, or you never have like a gay trans person, the trans person's always straight, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, or it's like a lesbian film, or, you know.
And I just feel like I liked that it showed that the queer community is a lot more like
homogenous.
Yeah, you know, we're nestled together. We're not all separated.
Yeah,
we all love each other. Well, you know what I mean. Most of us do.
The same group, especially at a certain time.
Yeah,
you're all shoved into the same hole.
Yeah,
of just like weird queers and sinners.
Absolutely, and I liked that a lot. I liked that it addressed sex work. I feel like there should be more films about sex work in a way that's not like, the thing is yes, it's a film with lots of sex scenes in it, but none of them actually feel that like titillating, if that makes sense. I
agree, yeah.
And I think that is such a cool way to shoot like a film about porn. In my head I put it as an X before X, and I think even better than X maybe in my brain. Speaking
of like films about sex workers though, fuck Honoria.
Yeah.
Please, I think that's one of the worst films about a sex worker like ever.
I think it's
actually okay.
I think it's a fine film. I just think it's not as deep as the filmmakers think it is.
It's nowhere near as deep, and the character is insulting. It is so misogynistic. I don't even want to go there. But
Yeah.
this felt more humanizing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it
Like,
felt
even though we only ever see them really at work, you know,
Yeah.
we don't see these people's lives. And yet, even though we don't see that, we see so much of what they deal with. We still see the realities of the situations, but we also see the heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't just see these people getting horny and having sex and like, look, they're sinners. We see them having fucking aftercare fucking rap parties where they have picnics.
Yeah, and they speak poetry and have
Yeah.
fun making jokes with each other about birth in a vodka bottle.
And they're more than just sex workers, they're artists.
Yeah. And they care about what they do and they care about each other, which is why you see scenes like even the fluffer crying over the deaths of people he cared about and things like that. I really liked it. And I liked that the Anne wasn't a good cat person. She had different aspects to her. She had her obsession with Lois that made her into a horrible, like, sex offender. But she did care about the people, you know what I mean, in her group. And she had problems, but she also had, you know, strong points as well. And I appreciate that. I say the biggest flaw to me is definitely like the ending. I feel like it's very convoluted. I liked the scene where obviously Guy is murdered, but I also didn't like the scene after. I didn't like the romance scene so much because I think that maybe we could have put that in a different point in the film, or maybe made in a different way that would appeal to me personally more. It's just an opinion thing.
So my issue was that,
and also the ending, like porno thing, I just
the Frenchy abstract stuff is cool, and I liked it at certain points. But when we got to the resolution of the film, and we were finally being told the answer to the mystery, you can't tell me the answer to a convoluted mystery through Frenchy abstractness, because now you're telling me something confusing in a confusing way. And it just, I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, maybe it was obvious, maybe,
again,
you know?
like, I really like this film. I thought, I just love a weird, gross movie, and I think that this is one of them. And
Agree. I give it a solid 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I give it 3.5.
Yeah.
I did like it. What do you guys watch horror movies for Pride? If so, what's your favourite gay horror movie?
And you guys excited for Pride?
Yeah.
You know, let's get down to the real stuff.
To be fair, this is going to be released at the end of Pride, so how have you been spending your Pride?
Before London Pride,
Before
though.
London Pride, though, that's true.
Do you think they should be kink at Pride? No, I'm joking.
Yes, actually, I do. There, that's my answer.
You know, after watching this film, yes. Because look at these people. Remember where you came from. And remember, like, how
Learn
these
your
people were
history,
treated.
and then chat to me.
Yeah. Chat to me, bro. No. Okay.
Happy
Thank you for
Pride.
watching. Happy Pride.
Happy
Ooh,
Pride.
Gay.
Do some protesting this month, please.
Yeah. Look out for people. Look out for yourselves. Yeah.
Love each other, please.
Thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you.
Hope we'll see you in the next episode.
Yes.
Check out our links below and check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
And wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Or watch them at Literally Dead Horror Podcast.
Woo.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Bye.